All right, here we go. No, not kidding. So we went and we saw Graybox Nashville. Now, if you didn't see it, I'll link it here so you can watch it. It's amazing. Go check that out. The video's great. That was right when we started doing studio tours on the channel quite regularly. And that studio specifically was a big inspiration for me. So I really wanted to go back and have more of a conversation with Cody on how do you build a Graybox in Nashville? Like, what's the story? How do you go? Because I know Cody started in a basement. I mean, we all kind of started in a basement or a spare bedroom or a bonus room or something. In fact, I actually started in a bonus room that looked just like this, but a little more like this. So I thought it would be fun to go back, see what's changed in Graybox over the years since they opened. Initially, when we went and saw it, they had just opened. Get a little bit of that backstory and see what's changed. So that's what we're gonna do today. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you guys have not subscribed already. This video, much like many other videos on the channel, is sponsored by Sweetwater, so give them some love. Check out the video I just put up on the Universal Audio Apollo I/O Ultimate setup. I'll link that video as well as all the gear I'm using and a lot of the gear that Cody uses down in the description. Affiliate links for Sweetwater, shout out to them. So like I said, this is a little bit different than the epic studio tours as usual, but I thought it would be a fun exploration and getting some backstory on how you build something like this. It's so cool. Hey dude.
Dude, what's up?
So good to see you, man.
Welcome back.
Loving the hair.
Sure. Yeah, yep. Keep it going. Don't think I've chopped it since our last video.
Yeah, so it's been what, like 2 years or something, right?
Dude, I think so.
I always forget how beautiful this place is. I'm such a big fan of the natural light, and I know you guys have made some updates, right?
We have, yeah, man. We've made a couple updates. Nothing crazy on the gear side of things at this point. A couple little additions that we're stoked about, but really our live room has been the biggest space that we've updated. Last time you guys were here, I don't think we had our staircase to get up to the loft.
Right, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
We had a ladder situation.
Yeah, a little ladder situation, a little treacherous.
And you got a big piano now too.
We did, yeah. There you go, just hiding underneath it.
A C3?
Dude, it is a G2. Actually, a little baby grand. Yeah, nice. Just kind of hides underneath the staircase.
So remind me, when did you guys build this place?
So I think we started near the beginning of 2019-ish, maybe like March of 2019 or so.
Okay.
We finished up construction at the beginning of 2020 and then spent a few months just like loading it out, getting gear in, getting everything set up, getting used to the space.
Workflow.
Yeah, exactly. That whole thing, putting a little finishing design touches on it.
Coffee, you know.
Exactly.
What fits the mood here.
The important
Dark
stuff.
roast.
The really important, always light roast. Yeah, dude, so it took a little while to get stuff in and get used to the space. And so I think we kind of officially opened our doors summer to fall of 2020, somewhere in there. Yeah, and then that was kind of right around the time I think we had you in to check the spot out for our first video, man. And it's been a wild ride since then.
Can we go check? So the stairs are new. Dude. Can we check out up there?
Oh, absolutely. Disastrous storage situation for the longest time, but recently we decided to clean it up a little bit, turn it into gotta duck your head a little bit to get up here, but
I can get down.
Yeah, there you go, man. I'm telling you, you gotta do the Smeagol walk to get up here.
Dude, this is clean with the skylights.
Yes, skylights. Just it's obviously not a lot of headroom up here, but yeah, dude, it's a great little spot, a little functional spot to just get up here and chill out, get away from the session a little bit, write some stuff. This is like a fun little spot to get up and write in. And then obviously we needed a little better instrument storage and stuff like that. So we had
a bunch of cases on the ground.
Yeah, there's cases, gear, just like drums just strewn all over the place. So wanted to make it functional and pretty. So built some drum cases over here that house like the Ludwig and our anchor kit. The dream is to eventually have that whole top row just be filled out with like all the classic snares, anything that you could need for a record up there.
This is an amazing studio, obviously. Yeah. Myself, and I'm sure a lot of other people would love to get to a point where we have, you know, access to something like this or have our own version of it.
Yeah.
Assumably, you started recording, I don't know, when you were younger, making music probably, right?
Yeah, man.
What was the journey from that to this?
Yeah, it's a crazy one, man. It's like, it's cool because I never really sat down and had the plan or the dream of like, I would love to build/run my own studio some days. That was never really on the table of something that I wanted to do. It started out exactly like you said. I was in bands when I was younger. Just loved music. Just wanted to like write and play and do the whole like recording studio, album cycle, touring. That was like the dream, was to be in a rock band and do that. But all the while, I was growing and recording stuff because I was like, I just want to be able to record our demos and get ideas down and stuff like that. And then over the years, I just kind of kept growing in that and learning more and falling more and more in love with it. And then over about a decade, just realized like, hey, I'm actually way more suited for this lifestyle and this kind of thing than touring, writing, playing. I mean, like my favorite part of being in a band was being in the studio and like talking to the engineer and seeing what the producer was doing. So it was actually really fitting because right around the time that I was kind of like, you know what, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. My younger brother, who was in those bands with me and playing guitar, he was actually kind of having his own kind of personal, revolution of like, oh, I do want to write and play and be a front man, and I can do that, and I have the talent and the desire to do that. And so we kind of grew together in that as he was starting to do that and I was wanting to do more production and engineering work, he was like, I want you to record my first EP. And I was like, no, I'll help you get the like demos or something like that. And he's like, no, I want you to do it. Like you're good enough. Like, I was like, okay. So he trusted me to record and edit, mix, release his first EP. And we've literally been working together ever since. That was kind of the transition to doing more production and engineering. And didn't start here. Obviously started out in our basement, just right down there. And it was just kind of like any old dingy basement that you would find in a 1940s home. But it started out there. And honestly, when we got the house, we got it because it had some space in the basement. Once we moved in, we started looking at, okay, how do we, clean this up, fit this out? So I just kind of started getting gear down there and trying to make the most of it, honestly, because it's a crummy situation. It's like the most weird room with the weirdest resonances and like low ceilings, but just not pleasant. Not a place where you go and get a really good drum sound, But worked there for probably about 4 or 5 years and just kind of kept working on projects and having. It was a cool mix. It was a lot of stuff that I was personally doing, but it was also, we opened it up to have people have video shoots in there, rehearsals in there, because it was kind of a multi-usable kind of a space. And just over a year and a half or so, just kind of kept making improvements there and took it from this dingy old nasty basement to a pretty cool spot that actually a lot of video content was shot there, a lot of records and singles were cut down there. That's where I kind of made the transition from like, oh yeah, audio is kind of just my hobby to, oh, I'm actually kind of doing this thing for real at this point. So yeah, dude, we just kind of ran that for about 5 years and then kind of started growing out of it in the house. Business in the basement was starting to become a lot, and there was people that lived right above that. And then on top of that was actually a pretty consistently booked out Airbnb.
Okay.
So it was just a lot happening on 3 layers of a house. So kind of started exploring what it would look like to improve the situation or change it. And Nashville's just crazy, man, to like try to find a place to like buy or rent, especially right now, is insane. So But what so many people do is like take a little bit of space in their backyard and turn it into like an Airbnb or a mother-in-law suite or something like that.
Sure.
And so we had the space for that, and we're like, hey, what if we did something crazy and kicked around the idea of building a studio instead? And we just kind of started exploring it and took one little step at a time, and every little step we took, it was like, okay, this seems like it could work. That's kind of, I guess, one of my motifs. Take whatever you've got and just like try to make the best of it, make the most of it, make it better than you found it.
Yeah. So something that is inspirational to me is how a story like this unfolds. And I think there's probably a lot of mystery to, especially younger people haven't had the experience of like buying property and kind of learning about the value. Like for me, we bought a house and fixed it up a little bit. I put a studio in there. I spent like $5 or $6 grand. I was like, I'm gonna spend $2,500.
Yeah,
and I spent like $6 grand, and I was like, it's still $6 grand is nothing.
Yeah.
To build a studio
compared to what you can. Yeah.
It was one room, and I just sort of converted the room a little bit. I want to message more clearly to people that it is possible to do something like this, because now I'm on my way to hopefully somewhere in the next year or so. We sold that house.
Yeah.
And when you buy a house and then you sell it, you make money.
Yeah.
Then that helps your credit and all this other stuff. And especially guys who literally eat, sleep, and breathe sitting in a control room, they're just not even thinking, they're probably thinking, how do I get another SM7?
Right.
Like, man, it'd be great to have two. They're not thinking about how can I leverage where I am and how I'm living to grow my business. And
yeah, exactly.
my guess, I don't know what the business model of the basement space was.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that in combination with Airbnb and probably in combination with the value of the property helped build this, right?
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, honestly, and I would be stupid to act as if like all of this was on my shoulders or anything like that. It's also community. I feel like we live in a self-made, pick yourself up by your bootstraps kind of, or at least a culture that kind of prizes that. And it's like you look at anybody who made their first push towards success in any realm, usually there was some sort of team or community or somebody around them helping them out. So financially, business-wise, all of that, we've had help. It's been a team of people. It's been a family affair, you know? It's not just me being like, dang, I'm so good at engineering. I'm so good at people coming in to use our basement studio that now I'm killing it. And I'm gonna build this lovely bastion of glorious audio and visual stuff. Like it's like you said, it's probably a lot more attainable than people realize, but it's not like all on you to do it. Try to find a community that like believes in what you are, going after, and it will help you support that, whether financially or even just like
planning.
Yeah, planning, encouragement, just somebody to go like, hey, you're good enough to do this, like go for it. Rather than the like, I don't know, that feels risky. There's so many naysayers that there's ample ammunition for us to decide to not do something, I think we need more people in our lives that are like, hey, I believe in you, let's go for it, It's been a mixture of stuff. I care a lot about business outside of this space, investments and growing capital outside of this place. It's way more than just how can I get good enough at recording or producing to make this a full-time gig. It's like, I don't know if that model is ever going to be as viable anymore. It's kind of the whole multiple streams of and for me also, it was like, I'm just so interested in so many different things, including this, but not limited to this, that I've kind of been fortunate to create this little life where I get to operate in all of these different categories and grow each one. Like I get to help my wife with her business a lot, which is awesome. We help each other. And so, dude, it takes a team. It takes time, like you said. I feel like with most people's dreams and just like stuff that they're pushing for, the biggest factor is so many people tap out before they give it, especially like with music stuff. They're like, I'll give it 2 years. And if I'm not like
less, way less. Most people give up way sooner.
Yeah, seriously, I'll give it a year. I'll give it a year. And if I'm not raking it in or wildly successful by a year or two in, then I'm gonna take that as the sign that I'm not supposed to do it. It's like you talk to anybody who's found not even success, but just built a life or an income or whatever in whatever realm, you'll find out quickly that there's a lot of time that went into it, a lot of work behind closed doors. That it's like bands, you know, they're like, oh, they blew up overnight. Oh my gosh, never heard of them. And then you talk to them, you're like, no, we've been writing and doing stuff for a decade, and you have not heard of us. Yeah. Like, it's that kind of thing. It's the quiet, consistent work that if people just don't tap out and go, oh, I guess I better go get the corporate job because of benefits and stuff, you're probably closer than you realize to being able to make it work and do it. So I don't know, man. I'm not at all perfect in that. I'm not the guy to like, go get it, like chase your dreams. But I found that to be my experience with so many of my friends and people that I know. You'll find your way eventually. Just stick with it, and you'll get your way
Keep
there.
going.
So, yeah.
What were your expectations of how this was going to operate and what you were going to get out of it, and then how has it actually evolved, and what are some of the things you're excited about that you're doing now, or maybe that you didn't see that came out of it?
Yeah, dude, that's a great question. So expectations were honestly pretty low because I think I said this in our last video, it's like we didn't build this to be Nashville's newest, hottest studio. Like everybody come cut your record or do your deal here at our spot. Like we really kind of built it out of semi-necessity of like, okay, we're genuinely out of space in the basement where we're at. And if we're gonna build something, let's do it right and do it big. But I think I intended it to be more, this is gonna sound silly and kind of selfish, but more personal usage, a lot more just my personal projects or close friends who are cutting stuff or whatever. I thought it would be way more under the radar, I guess. So that was kind of the intention. Then I think once people kind of started to get in here and see the space, and even just from your video, people getting to, you know, see what we got going on here, I think it just kind of caught people's attention, and we just started to get a lot of inquiries, and it's been cool because I really hate doing like the same thing every day. If I were just engineering here and just putting mics on stuff, setting pre's, day in, day out, doing the same thing, I think I would go insane.
Get a little burnt.
That. Yeah, get a little burnt out. Fortunately, the space has become something that is like not that at all. Like it gets pretty equally split between video work, audio work, got some podcast work in here. I get to use it for personal like projects and cutting bands and stuff. So it's a cool mix of, and then sometimes I'm in here like every day, all the time, either recording a band or mixing or editing, stuff like that. So it's been cool because it's kind of broken my expectations of just the kind of rhythm of what would be happening, you know? And we love that, honestly. I love having people in here, getting to showcase the light in the space. So that's something we're kind of leaning a little more heavily into these days, is having people shoot their videos here. So that's been a real gift, and it keeps you on your toes a little bit. You just like never know what the week's gonna look like, you know?
Well, you're probably really well suited for this because people are very different. And there are some guys who only want to just be super rigid and cut tracks every day. And they're like bitter about video people coming in and this and that, you know. And then there's guys like me, and it sounds like you, who kind of get bored of doing the same thing every single day. And I like to do a little bit of this, I like to do a little bit of that.
Totally.
I also like to learn from other people. So when you have a beautiful space and you let other people come in and they're like, hey, we're gonna do this thing. You're like, I would have never thought to do that. But
I watch?
But I'll watch, and I'm gonna store this. And then when I want to do something like that, I've now seen how you
dude.
did it in here.
It's so real, man. Just the connections that come out of getting to manage a space like this is so cool. One of our like most popular videos that's been shot in here was like a live one-shot take of gospel artist CeCe Winans, absolute legend. And the video's got like, I think close to 6 million views now. It was shot like not that long ago.
Yeah.
And even just to see the people whose lives that video has touched,
sure.
I was like, that's so cool, man. It was just shot in this space. It's been so cool to just have those kind of random connections and stuff that just, I never would have dreamed that I'd be building a space in my backyard and a gospel legend would be, you know, singing some of her tracks in the space. It's such a cool deal, man. So yeah, keeps you on your toes, keeps it fresh. It's a lot of fun little gifts and experiences in the process.
Yeah. If anyone's interested, we did a full studio tour of this place in, I think it was like September 2020.
So. Yeah.
If you want to see that, I will link that right here. You had mentioned that there is like a dark mode to the studio now.
Dude. Everybody's got that on their iPhone nowadays, right? Just flip it, whatever you're wanting.
And for video, it's very helpful to be able,
yeah,
you know, like when the clouds move, it changes things.
Yes.
So being able to control lighting is very valuable. So I imagine doing live performances and stuff, that's been pretty helpful.
Absolutely, yeah. So we wanted to kind of be able to offer that as well to people who want to shoot here, because obviously we're very like light drenched, tall ceilings, visually oriented in that way, and that's kind of its own look. And sometimes it's not what you're needing. Sometimes you want the dark space, you want controlled light, you want color, and so we got some blackout curtains for each of these little skinny windows and all the other like places that light sneaks in here, including the little skylights up top. And we, you know, if a crew wants it and they can request that, we'll just throw that up before they get here, black it out, flip on dark mode, and just give them a totally different look. The different looks in the space that you can get has been one of the coolest things about it, because so many people start and they shoot back this way because it's super geometric and it's got all the light coming in, so that's really cool. And if you turn around, you know, this other direction, you've got the interest of the staircase, you've got the piano, you've got the
slat wall,
the wood wall. Yeah, exactly. So you've got that. So you've got like two completely different live room looks right here. People who are wanting something that's a little more intimate, like interview kind of style stuff, will usually use our control room because it's also really like sonically controlled. It's really like perfect for audio interview capture. So they'll use that. And then now we've got the lounge up there as well, if you know anybody's trying for podcast interview kind of style stuff.
Yeah, man, we're moving there. We'll do an episode together.
Let's go, man. Breaking the loft.
Well, dude, thank you. I'll put links to everything down in the description. If you guys want to go give Graybox a follow and book some time or whatever, it's on the website, right? Contact and all that.
Grayboxnashville.com.
They've got a great Instagram, beautiful photos as you can imagine. So yeah. We'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.